creative team member, and Rey Mysterio and Melina both were scheduled to go over to SmackDown due to the Hispanic demographic for both. Maurice, like we talked about, was scheduled to come over to Monday Night Raw. So that one didn't take me by surprise. I expected that due to just Melina and Rey were basically locked before we came into this thing. Our next match, John Cena versus Jack Swagger. What'd you think? I mean, Swagger is never. I think they brought him in way too early and tried to push him too early. And I've heard this thing over on ECW with you've got Finley, Christian, and Tommy Dreamer that are battling it out with the winner going on to face Swagger for the ECW title. I haven't put anything on the website, Christian. We say it time and time again. You would think that out of those three, we'll see what happens at the ECW tapings tonight. By the way, we're going to have some live spoilers already, but I think they're going to do two more tonight. I know all three announced teams are there tonight as well because basically the announcers from the respective brands are going to call the matches that air on WWE Superstars, as we noted yesterday. But yeah, back to the match, Jack Swagger and John Cena. Yeah, it was sloppy. Cena's work is there's nothing. I really don't have a big problem with John Cena. The only problem that I have with him is, and maybe it's just because I'm a little bit older, the corniness and the promos. But as far as work rate is confirmed, and the guy's a workhorse. This is the guy that's out doing movies. This is the guy that's at Raw, SmackDown each week, doing house shows, live events. I mean, he's an absolute
with attitude. Austin's type of attitude. It's a little bit more towards what the WWE's direction is going towards. At least catering to the demographics that they're looking for.
If you were to go up to a casual fan, okay, John Cena is a guy like, okay, if you're not even a wrestling fan, you know who The Rock are, you know who Steve Austin is, you know who John Cena is. I mean, the guy is the face of your company. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's something, and I think it's the corniness and a full-fledged face. Which right now he's not. Right now, I don't know, what's the 80% face, 20% heel, something like that. Maybe less than that. Maybe 60%.
The reality is, it's you can look at it in this scope. Cena, his character you'll see on Nickelodeon. And Austin you'll see on the USA.
It came off good. It came off good for an older fan such as myself. You know what I mean? I'm not that old, but I'm past to the point where I don't want to hear those corny kid promos. And you know why they do it, because a lot of kids buy his merchandise, and him and Rey Mysterio are based around more kid-friendly audiences. You know what I mean? But I think, eventually we're going to see a John Cena heel turn, I would think, at some point, maybe in 2009, and we'll see how...
I'm telling you, that's my call. I called it the first week, I think, because, what great way to give him that respect of the hardcore dedication that he gave, to the company and say, hey, you're going to go out.
Spike Dudley with Team 3D there as well. Huh? Not bad. Nah. Of course, I'm just joking, but that'd be great, man. Remember when they did that?
That would, yeah, or WCW, that's right, Medusa, I remember that idea. She came right up to the announcers, freaking grabbed the trash bin and just dumped the title right in the trash bin.
Get your rhinos, your title. We knew that. We definitely knew Triple H was going to come over to Raw. And then we had heard, at least I had heard, that the Hardys were going to split over the weekend. Not that they were together anyway.
I think if they start off Miz and Morrison, and then the next match would be Hardy versus Hardy in a gimmick match, let's say, I think.
Just in the back, just thinking to next week, just giggling, like a little schoolgirl, just, oh, this is going to be great. And that's the way that this creative team looks at things. It's, wow, this is comedy next week. And that next week they're going to come out, they're going to do the kiss cam. The kiss cam sucks. It's horrible. It never gets over. It gets over with a live crowd, but on TV, okay, on TV. How this is going to come across on TV next week is going to, I'm telling you right now, next week, for Vince McMahon with a huge smile on his face backstage. That is it. And I mark my words.
It will not be the first time that we saw two men kissing